Hi everyone, Mackie79 here and welcome to this new deck video of Magic Duels. As you can see guys, I have an Abzan control deck for you here, and Abzan means that we're playing white, black and green. Now after the zombies video and the humans video, I was in real need for an uber control deck, and I think I brewed one up with this one. So it's the first time that I've built an Abzan deck. And yeah, I'm pretty happy with it, how it goes right now. So let's just dive right into it. We start with the Sylvan Advocate for 2 mana, 1 green. We get a 2/3 vigilance, and if we control 6 or more lands, he and land creatures you control get +2/+2. Now we do play a few land creatures, not that much, but we do play them. Manlands and maybe Awaken. So sometimes that triggers as well, but other than that, a 2/3 for 2 is already great. And he has vigilance, and when you play him later in the game, he's a 4/5, so pretty awesome card. Then the Elvish Visionary, 2 mana, 1 green. We get a 1/1, which is a great little blocker there, and he replaces itself by drawing a card. Now it's pretty good. I prefer to play this one because yeah, when we lost the Sylvan Ranger, we can't fix our mana, and this one won't do it. He won't fix your mana, but he will let you draw a card, so you will get your lands hopefully a bit faster early in the game. Now a card that does search for land is this one, the Primal Druid for 2 mana, 1 green. We get a 0/3 body, which is already a pretty good defender, but the problem is we usually want him to die, because when he dies you get to search your library for a basic land, and you can put it onto the battlefield tapped and then shuffle your library. So basically most of the time you want him to die. Now if he doesn't die until that time, he is a great blocker, but because we want to get his ability triggered, we do play a few sack outlets to make it go a bit faster. Now one of those sack outlets is the Evolutionary Leap. You guys all know this card by now. He's there from the beginning for 2 mana, 1 green. We get an enchantment that says if we pay a green and sack a creature, we get to reveal the cards from the top of our library until we get a creature card. We get to put that card into our hand and the rest on the bottom of our library in a random order. So yeah, when something is targeted, and we can sack it in response and get a replacement actually. So, or we can just sack this one because we want them to die, like I said before, for example. Now then a 3 mana cost drop is this one, Thalia, Heretic, Cathar. For 3 mana and a white, we get a really awesome creature here, a 3/2 first strike, which for that cost is already damn amazing. And the other ability is just nuts as well. A creature and non-basic lands your opponent control enter the battlefield tapped. Now it's especially the creatures. Many non-basic lands already come tapped into play, but yeah, the Evolving Walls, for example, or the comes tapped into play as well. So yeah, pretty awesome card. It really slows down your opponent. She's a great beater and also a great defender if you need it. It's a card where you can go a lot of different ways with. Then the Fleshbag Marauder. You guys, I love this card. You know I love this card. For 3 mana we get a 3/1, but usually we sack him to himself. And because each player has to sacrifice a creature when this one comes into play. Yeah, he deals with the bigger creatures, the bigger threats, or yeah, usually for that, or we can play him to sack this guy as well. Nice addition to this deck. Then Nissa, the old Nissa, the Vastwood Seer. Well, it's one of the, it's actually the only planeswalker that I play, and I don't mind playing her on my 3rd turn for the forest actually, because we do need some mana in this deck, and it does go slow, so I don't mind. Also because I go into my graveyard from time to time, so I can get her back easily. And yeah, when she flips to her planeswalker side, she's still amazing. For 3 mana, you get a lot of it. a lot in return. Then the Pulse of Murasa. For 3 mana we get to get back a target creature or a land card from our graveyard into our hand, and we gain 6 life. Now the 6 life is relevant in this deck because, like I said, it goes a bit slower, so sometimes you get a beating before you can defend yourself or before you can play your threats, and then the 6 life is nice to have. Also we play the Anguished Unmaking. You all know this card too by now, I guess you see a lot of it. For 3 mana, a generic, a white and a black, we get an instant speed, exile target, null and permanent, and you lose 3 life. Now, you know by now that the 3 life loss isn't that relevant most of the time. You're happy to pay that to get rid of a big threat. I was doubting first to play this one or Declaration in Stone, but at the end I chose for this one because I do play some board wipes, and the Declaration in Stone would be more interesting for the tokens that you see a lot with zombies, for example. But because I do play some board wipes, that's not really relevant anymore. So I prefer to have this one because of obviously it deals with planeswalkers and nasty enchantments. So yeah, I prefer to play that one. Then the Eldritch Evolution. Now in the beginning I wasn't too fond of this new card. We pay 3 mana and 2 green. And we have to sack a creature, and then we get to search our library for a card that costs maximum 2 more, and we get to put that one in play. And we have to exile this one. Now, like I said in the beginning, I wasn't too fond of this one. I think still one of the big disadvantages with this card is that it's at sorcery speed. I would much more prefer it to be at instant speed. That way you can sack a creature in response to something. But then again it would be a bit too much perhaps. So. But I like to sack this one to it, for example, so that I can get to search for the next card. And that's Gisela the Broken Blade. For 4 mana, 2 white. We get a flying first strike lifelink with a body that's already decent enough for 4/3. And the second ability is actually relevant too because we do play Bruna. And when we have Bruna and Gisela on the battlefield, then we get Brizella, Voice of Nightmares, and when this one is on the battlefield it gets really nuts because flying first strike, vigilance, lifelink with a 9/10. And your opponents can't cast spells with converted mana cost 3 or less, so most spot removal is out of the question. This one will win you games, obviously. Pretty awesome. Then another 4-drop that you can get with the combo Eldritch Evolution and sacking then this one, for example, is Kalitas. Still like him. For 4 mana and 2 black you get a 3/4 lifelink, and when your opponent's creatures start dying you get some zombies in return, and those zombies you can sack them to make him bigger. Pretty awesome. And if you want to sack those zombies to something else, the Evolutionary Leap is a great option. Still like it. Then the Languish, one of our board wipes. You guys know this one by now. It's a great board wipe. Then the Archangel Avacyn. For 5 mana you get a pretty decent angel here. She's at flash speed, flying, vigilance. And when she enters the battlefield, all your other creatures gain indestructible until end of turn. And when she dies, you get to flip her. I mean, when a non-angel creature of you dies, you get to flip her. And then we get Avacyn the Purifier, which is a 6/5. And when she transforms into this form, she deals 3 damage to each other creature and each opponent, which is pretty awesome. She's a mini board wipe on her own, a Radiant Flames, if you will. Then Planar Outburst, another board wipe, and sometimes you can even play the Awaken ability. Yeah, you guys know this one too. Great card. Then Linvala the Preserver, 6 mana, we get a 5/5 flying, which is already great. And most of the time she will gain you 5 life and maybe even a 3/3 White Angel. Awesome card. Then the Woodland Bellower. Yeah, you just get a lot of value for what you pay. You get a 6/5 for 6, and then you get to search one of these 3 fellows here, which is pretty awesome. Especially if you can get the Sylvan Advocate. It's pretty nuts. And then the Emeria Sheperd. Yeah, like I said, you guys know that I like to go digging into my graveyard, and this angel right here is one of the better cards that does that, in my opinion. Yeah, awesome card. And then of course Bruna, the Fading Light. When you cast her, hopefully you get Gisela back, and then they transform into Brizella, which is an awesome win condition. Then we play 5 plains, 2 swamps, 5 forests, the 2 Quagmire, the Shambling Vent, all 2 copies, 2 copies of the Vista, 2 copies of the Woodland Cemetery, 2 copies of the Isolated Chapel, and 2 copies of the Sunpetal Grove. And then still 2 copies of the Evolving Wilds, because sometimes early in the game you want to fix your mana a bit, and Evolving Wilds help you with that. It's not to thin the deck out, but to fix your mana. Let's take a look at the curve, which seems a bit weird. We do have some 2-drops and 3-drops, so we should be able to defend ourselves before we get to the board wipes and the big threats. I haven't tested the deck that much yet, because it's pretty new. I actually made it today, and I played a few games with it, maybe 10 or something, I can't remember. But it works pretty well. I'm pretty satisfied with it, and I hope you guys will be as well. So I hope you guys enjoyed this deck video, and I hope you join me with the gameplay video. See you guys there. Bye bye guys.